Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to TrepTalks. This is a show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Nikki Smith to the show. Nikki is the founder of Nikki Smith Designs. They create modern, dainty, and affordable jewelry for customers that appreciate the power of accessorizing. And today I'm going to ask Nikki a few questions about her entrepreneur journey and some of the strategies and tactics that she has used to start and grow a business. So Nikki, thank you so much for joining me today at Trip Talks. Really, really appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Awesome. So yeah, maybe we should get right into your story. Can you share a little bit about, what were you doing before starting this business? What really kind of interested you about entrepreneurship, and how did you kind of get started with this business idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So, gosh, my journey goes back about 10 years now. I am from Minnesota. I grew up there and I went to school in Wisconsin. And I ended up in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, where I reside now 10 years ago. So I moved here to work for JCPenney's headquarters. I came here right out of college. I came to join their buying program. And I had a great job there. I was really looking for jewelry to wear to work. So I really didn't want to spend a lot of money. It was my first job out of college. I bought a couple of pieces from different boutiques here and there, but I had something break and then something tarnish. I didn't really want to spend my money on that. So I just truly started making jewelry to wear to work. I bought some stones, some string. I watched some YouTube videos. I went to the Michael's craft store and I kind of just started playing around with pieces that people actually really loved. So a couple of people at the office said, "Hey, where'd you get that cool necklace? Or where'd you get that pretty stone?" And I told them I made it and I told them the price. And I essentially sold jewelry right off of my neck. So that was 10 years ago. That evolved into selling jewelry at pop-up shops and festivals, farmers markets, music fests, really wherever I could pop up a 6-foot folding table, I did. And I did that for quite a few years, and it really became a lucrative side hustle. And that is kind of where the brand was born, out of just, a true need for some jewelry that I couldn't find.
Well, that is so interesting that I mean, you must be doing something, right? Like, what was it? Were you, because I mean, I don't think there's any shortage of jewelry out there. So what
Yeah.
were you like,
Yeah,
what
that's
is it
fair.
different about yours that people wanted to actually pay you and buy it?
Yeah, great question. Well, I would say overall, jewelry is a pretty saturated market. A lot of things are the entrepreneurs get in, let's say candles or, just things that people can create. But I don't think any market is saturated in the right products. I think what made me different was that if I didn't sell something at a pop-up table, I would take it apart. I would reuse the stone. I would throw the chain away. I would actually watch what sold and make more of that and watch what didn't sell and take that apart. I figured if 100 people saw a necklace and no one bought it, chances are I'm not going to sell it at the next show or the next show.
Hmm.
So I think that was a pretty important aspect of the business. And then that's probably one of my strengths is really like listening to customers and really understanding that products evolve and products change and that it's not so much what you love, it's what people are buying. So I have been pretty quick to pivot from the beginning on what people like and follow that lead. I think that the analytic piece of the business is so important no matter what industry you're in. And if you continue to evolve your products and you continue to listen to your customers and be okay with moving on with the times, I don't think any market is too saturated for that kind of a business.
And so what was it? What did the customers like? I mean, can you give a
So
little bit of an idea of your, I mean, business and the kind of pieces you're selling? I mean, they're inspired from everything that you've learned. Um,
yeah.
what is different about it?
Well, okay, so let's start at the beginning. So at the beginning, people loved real stones. They loved cool stones, tiger's eye, jersey, things that would sparkle, things that were wired wrap, things that were truly unique. My whole proposition at the beginning was, well, I handmade this, I only make one of pieces. So you kind of take it while you can. And people will be like, oh my gosh, this is such a pretty stone. So I think it really started out of really you buying unique stones. I made a lot of bracelets, and I would put like jersey centers in the middle, or I would put a really great like one-off piece of a stone and turn it into an elastic bracelet. If it didn't sell, I would cut those off and try different beads around the stone. So I think at the beginning, it was really finding that unique thing. Over time, we now manufacture jewelry, and we make jewelry for over 1,000 different retail stores, boutiques, department stores, all sorts of different stores. And I have 3 retail stores of my own. I would say now we are more on a proposition of waterproof jewelry that is affordable. All of our pieces are under $50, and we're using gold-filled stainless steel, sterling silver, things that are great quality but won't break the bank. So it has really evolved over time. Like, for example, I have a necklace on right now. It's nothing special, but it's a tiny mini tennis necklace. It has tiny little cubic zirconias. It's different because a lot of tennis necklaces are chunky, but we took that trend and we made it super dainty to be on brand for us. And it's waterproof, and it's $42. And I shower in this, and I sleep in this, and I play tennis in this. And I don't worry about it breaking or tarnishing. So I think that is the value proposition now. It has changed and evolved, but I have always been okay with that kind of change coming with the business. And I think that that has been a valuable lesson. It really, that spans across any type of entrepreneurship.
And so you are, I mean, one of your value propositions is waterproof. So are you using like certain kind of polish that does not fade over time? Like, of course, your necklace is very, very shiny.
Yeah, it is.
So,
It's very shiny. And I'm not lying to you. I've had this on for many months, and I do all of the things in it, and I don't ever take it off because it's so dainty. So we're using, it's funny. The materials are a little bit tricky because what we found over time is that the same material doesn't work for every type of daintiness or every type of setting of a stone, but we're using gold-filled materials. Gold-filled is basically enough real gold around a base metal that is durable enough where they just don't turn or tarnish over time. That's kind of the definition of gold-filled. And then stainless steel, our stainless steel. Hi, sorry about that. Hi,
no
Thunder.
worries.
Our
Hello.
stainless, hi, buddy. Our stainless steel jewelry is made of steel, which has basically we use a PVD coating over it. Steel already keeps its natural color very well, but with that, the way that we basically coat it, it repels water. So it's just really interesting. We found a few different materials that really work and withstand the test of time.
That is so interesting. I mean, you've been able to evolve your product so much, and basically, I mean, you're innovating.
Yeah, we're super innovative. And the other part that's been a fun challenge is that I have 2 little boys who I'm about to turn on a TV show. So sorry for the interruption.
So,
Hi, Bubba. So anyways, sorry to interrupt this. I told my husband to come in with them, but that's part of entrepreneurship too, is
totally fine. This has happened before also.
yeah, it's the
So,
whole
no worries.
work-life balance, thing, which is another fun part of entrepreneurship, because usually by the time you get to running a successful business, you also probably have a family. And so that's been a whole nother challenge in itself.
For sure. So you were doing it as a side hustle for a few years, you said. And
Yep.
at what point, of course, you said you were making good money. At what
Yeah.
point were you able to kind of transition out of your 9 to 5 and make this your full-time project?
Yeah, so I waited quite a long time. I did this as a side hustle for, gosh, almost 5 years before I went out on my own. I have always been very careful to not make more money than not spend more money than we were making.
Hmm.
So, meaning that profit has always been a key part of the business. And it took, I would say, a solid 5 years until I thought to myself, okay, at the rate we're going and the way I have my sales coming in and the volume I think I could do foregoing my full-time job, I think I could be making a comparable salary to my real job. So I truly waited till it felt pretty comfortable. It wasn't as much of a gamble at that point because I had a good idea of what I was bringing in. Um, and at this point, so that, that takes us to about 5 years into the business. Now, over the last 5 years, this has been, my full-time job and I do pay myself and all that good stuff. But it took some time and it wasn't a big leap of faith because I am pretty conservative and I waited.
I think that that's a great strategy for any entrepreneur who's kind of, coming in the same path. Some people say, I want to quit my job, go 100%, but I think this is really the pragmatic way to do it, where you have tested your idea, you have the revenues coming in, and you basically transition out of your job. So I think that's
Right.
definitely
Exactly.
more of a
It
risk
takes a lot
averse,
of the stress away. I'm not a very risky person when it comes to things like that. And I, definitely preferred having a little bit of, something under my belt where it felt comfortable. And I was like, I'm actually missing sales now. I think that could be a key piece too for anyone listening. I mean, at what point are you truly missing business because you're working? If you're not, it, you don't really need to transition.
for sure. So you mentioned that now you have 3 retail stores,
Yeah.
and also you have distribution in thousands of stores, jewelry shops, and so forth that you mentioned. Is that kind of your main business model? So you're not, your online business is really a small part of it. Your main strategy is really retail and brick and mortar stores.
Yeah. So I would love for our online business to be a larger percent of our overall sales. It was harder for me as a strength, I guess, of my own strengths. It was harder to grow the online business. Our website is nikkismithdesigns.com. And if you hop on there, you can see at this point we have elevated pictures, we have better descriptions, we have a professional photographer, we switch things out seasonally for holidays. Um, but that took a long time for me to figure out how to do. And so online has just grown slower naturally. Also, I think there is, some very key competitors online, and it has been harder to capture people's attention and capture some of that market. So just naturally, our retail stores are a much larger percentage of our business, and our wholesale business has grown pretty significantly as well. But I would love to grow the online business, and we have focused more on that. But kind of to your point, when we started, it is a tough business to capture eyes and clicks at this point in the game online.
Yeah, I mean, it can be very competitive, especially like online customer acquisition with the marketing spend and so forth.
Right, right. And it's just something where when I got to talk to someone in a store and they usually would buy something, from me, but I don't get that personal feel with customers online. And although you have this huge audience out there, it is not as easy as one would think to capture, their attention and their credit card.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned that now of course, you can't make all the jewelry yourself.
Yeah.
So now you have kind of outsourced it to manufacturers, or so how does it work? Do you provide them design instructions? Do you provide them design files and they kind of take that and create the jewelry pieces?
Yep, yep, that is about right. We don't really have all of our eggs in one basket because that's another thing that I've always been like worried for. So we still have one, or actually, two gals in the office that still make jewelry. stuff that, special spools that we haven't found already manufactured, things that are seasonal that we maybe will only make 50 pieces of or something. So we're still making in our back room quite a few of our pieces, but things like, for example, tennis necklace, we're not setting stones in things like this. So we're really designing stuff that we see a void in the market, or we see, that our competitors aren't doing. And we're like, hey, let's get a sample of a really skinny tennis necklace from a couple of suppliers. Let's wear them. Let's see how they wear. Let's see what the cost is. Let's see what we could retail for this for, and then let's pick one. So we're kind of diverse in that. We are manufacturing overseas. We are manufacturing in the United States. We are still making stuff in our back room. We're a little bit all over the place. And part of that is just, learning and growing and transitioning. But the other part is just not having all of our eggs in one basket. And that way, as times change and, things happen, like for example, COVID, if you're making all of your stuff overseas, you were kind of in trouble during that time. That was a great time where we honed in on all the things we still manufactured in our back room.
Hmm.
So it's been an advantage, and it's also just been, an organic type of different growths.
So your strategy of being more of a cost-effective jewelry brand, I
Mhm.
mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Of course, on the one hand, it's targeting a certain demographic, a certain customer type, but on the other side, it also probably reduces your margins. So how are you finding? Are you able to kind of manage this, this letting go of margins to kind of go the volume route?
Yeah, sometimes more than others. That is something that has kind of changed over time, I would say. At the beginning, making everything myself and not having a whole lot of overhead costs, no office, no employees, no nothing really, the margin naturally works. As you grow, it's a different story. And there are times where we have decided to bring something in where I'm like, oh, it's kind of expensive, but it elevates the rest of our products. So we've done some things like that where, oh, we're not making as much on these, but this is a trend that we wanted to follow, or this is something that is more special. So we do have various different price points, various different margins. We have focused, part of growing a business too, has been not to just go with your heart and what you really love, but to actually start to watch the margins. Because as you grow, your overhead expenses grow way more than I would have thought.
Hmm.
So that is something that we are paying more attention to now. I used to kind of just do whatever I wanted or whatever I loved, or I would make something a little bit more expensive if it had to be because the cost was higher.
Hmm.
Um, we have now, taken away some things where we're like, this is one of our most expensive pieces. This is not one of our best sellers, and the
Hmm.
cost is high and it's hard to source. And we're not getting the stones the same quality we used to. And then we've cut pieces. So we have made more decisions by the numbers. I would say I made more decisions by my heart at the beginning, and that factor has kind of been taken out of it.
And so what have you learned about your customer base? Is it mostly like you started out 10 years ago when you were a young person and were
Yeah.
looking for like more of the, cost-effective jewelry to wear.
Yeah.
Are you finding that your customer is that persona, like young
Yeah.
students or, people who are just starting out their jobs and things like this? Because
Yeah.
I'm
We get
assuming, women who are, more settled in life, they would want to wear more expensive pieces.
Right. Right. Well, we actually, funny, my marketing gal just pulled a report for me, and our average customer is 24 to 38 in age, and almost all females. Most of our jewelry is female, but that female 24 to 38 is kind of our sweet spot. And our value proposition is waterproof pieces under $50. So I think that does fit the demographic. It's not as inexpensive as going to Target and buying jewelry, so that's probably more of a teen thing. It's not fine jewelry, which to your point, probably when you're about 50, you're like, I might not be wanting to take a clasp off all the time, and I want something solid gold. So yeah, I mean, we have found our target market does love that price point, and it's it's a large target market, so it's working for us right now.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting that you have your three retail stores and all concentrated, I'm assuming, in one city. Is that,
Yeah.
do you have plans to create more, like grow your retail presence?
Yeah. So we have 3 retail stores. They're all in Dallas, Texas. So the first retail store was at the Dallas Farmers Market. That came naturally out of having a booth there for so long. I had a presence there. I had a pop-up shop. I did what many entrepreneurs do. I was in between someone who makes candles and someone who makes bread and someone across from someone who makes dog food. So I got the opportunity to open a store after I spent a lot of weekends there.
Hmm.
They saw my business. They saw how many people loved it. People were asking about me, and they were like, we should give her a chance. So that first store kind of came up naturally. The second store grew out of a need to have a presence a little bit more north in Dallas, as well as a headquarters. So we opened that second location really because we found a great spot that we could also use the back half for a headquarters. It was
Hmm.
too big for a retail store, but it was great to use half for a retail store, half for our warehouse, our inventory, my full-time people, all that kind of stuff. Our third retail store in Dallas just happened to be a small niche space. It was long and narrow, and they couldn't find much to put in it. And one of the owners attended my grand opening of my other store, and she gave us the opportunity to open that.
Hmm.
So they've all kind of come, not from me being like, I need to be here, but just kind of the natural progression. I would love to expand outside of Dallas. I think we're learning how to manage stores, manage inventory, manage transferring, keeping the brand aligned at all 3 stores. I think we're learning a lot of key pieces right now. And once we fine tune all that, it will be easier to open in another city or state and keep the brand true.
And you said that you are present in thousands of other stores. Is that really through your wholesale strategy, or are you in some
Yeah.
major retail stores as well?
So mostly our wholesale strategy. So our wholesale strategy, we attend trade shows, and that's where we said there are many trade shows out there, apparel and accessories. They're in Atlanta, Vegas, Nashville, Dallas, kind of all over the place. We attend trade shows, and then we also use online platforms. If you have a store, you can go onto a website like called Fashion Go, and you can look for wholesale pieces. You
Hmm.
can go on a platform called Fair. So we've done a few different things. We've also reached out to people like just cute boutiques. Hey, here's our jewelry. We love doing wholesale. We'd love to get in touch with you. So we just kind of have a knack for that. And we've always just kept exploring that. And people have reordered. They're like, yeah, cool. I do love this jewelry. It is at a great price point. I can make a really pretty display in my store. Um, we also sell displays, which people love. So I
Hmm.
can buy a necklace board from her with the necklaces on it and put it in my store. So wholesale is just another thing that I think we as a brand liked doing, and we found a niche, and we have grown a little bit organically, and then we've also done a lot of like reaching out and taking advantage of the platforms that are out there.
What kind of, as the CEO of the business, as a business person, what part of your day is spent kind of working on the business? Like, how much do you think about? Because to me, it seems like you found a really good product market fit, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like, how do you scale this business, right? How
Yeah.
can you bring it to more people? So, uh,
Yeah.
do you spend a lot of time thinking about that, or do you
Yeah,
spend
that's a
more
great
time?
question, and that's something that I don't think any entrepreneur ever, completely achieves because it is tough. I love being at the headquarters because I get time with my full-time employees, and we get to strategize together, we get to talk together, all that good stuff. But I often work for the business when I am there. I just can't help it. I love to organize the displays or clean something up or put together, something for a customer or open the Amazon packages. It's just what I do when I get there. Um, but the valuable piece is when you learn how to stop doing that and how to actually work on your business. I would say my more of my creative moments and my working on the business happens outside of the office.
Hmm.
It happens, at night when I'm going to bed. I'm like, I wonder what our margin is on our top 5 items, or who are our best customers? It just kind of is stuff that naturally I'm curious about.
Hmm.
And so I end up working on the business outside of the office more often. But I would say right now, I'm probably more working on the business than for the business, and it's taken a long time to get there. But I try to spend the majority on of my time strategizing and delegating to my team at this point.
To me, it sounds like you're kind of satisfied with where your business is, or or the organic
Yeah.
growth, that you've achieved. Um, do you like? Do you have any goals for your business? Like, do you see your business 10 years down the road? Like, do you envision your business to be like a national brand kind of a thing where people,
Yeah.
it
I
has
mean,
national presence?
yeah, I would definitely say that's the goal. I mean, I would love to be a national brand. Obviously one brand that comes to mind because I'm in Dallas or I'm in Texas is Kendra Scott. Like they've built such a great business of fashion jewelry. And I'm like, our product is that great too. Our product is different, but just as good at a less price point.
Hmm.
So I am really motivated to continue to grow the brand. I wish I had more of in 5 years, I want to be in this many stores doing this much volume. But I I keep thinking about it and I pivot all the time because sometimes I'm way more excited and way more, feeling the growth. And sometimes I'm feeling profitability pains of growing and I want to scale back. So I'm a little bit still all over the board on growth, but I truly enjoy all the different aspects of the business. And I think if we can stay, focused and continue to improve every day, like we have over the past 8 years or so, I think that we can be very competitive in the overall jewelry, market share.
Thinking about pricing, do you
Yeah.
have you tested with pricing, like increasing the pricing, and like have you done a lot of testing with pricing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot of testing, but yes, we have priced things a little bit higher, uncomfortably higher, and we haven't felt as good about it. We don't feel like it sells as well as that under
Okay.
50 sweet spot.
Okay.
But now in our Lovers Lane store is in Dallas. That is a really kind of a nicer area, a wealthier area. They have fine jewelry stores there and everything. We do have tested some fine jewelry in that store. Now, it doesn't sell, like the sell through is not as fast as our fashion jewelry. It's just like a small capsule collection. And
Hmm.
we were like, let's get into fine jewelry. But it's not exactly where my passion lies. I
Hmm.
worry about the clasp. I worry about the diamonds. It's
Hmm.
kind of like a worry to me. It's an expensive piece of jewelry and my husband bought me one pair of diamond earrings and I lost one in the first month. And I am like, I don't ever want to have that stress again.
Hmm.
So it's not, I think, like where my passions super lie. I love like the affordability and the durability of fashion jewelry. And I would say when we price things over 50 versus under 50, we see it move faster versus slower.
Okay. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Amazon a little bit. I mean, given that your jewelry is more cost effective and Amazon, that the Amazon buyer kind of fits that profile. Are
Yeah.
you on Amazon and do you see a
We
lot
are
of sales?
not.
Okay.
No. So, really the reason we are not on Amazon is because we make jewelry for so many specialty boutiques. And I think it kind of deters the brand. When you can go on and type in Nikki Smith and every SKU is on Amazon, why would a boutique carry our jewelry? And we have built that business really strong and awesome. And so I've thought about it, I haven't thought about it, I've thought about it, and I'm just like, I'm not there. I just don't want to be like, fluctuating the pricing and sitting next to a sponge on the website. So no, we're not.
By the way, another entrepreneur I was talking to, they kind of found the solution. The solution for them was they put their products on Amazon, but the pricing was higher on Amazon than everywhere else, like on their website and everywhere else.
That's
So
actually interesting.
and
That's
so
really
that and
because that's
that
what they And that's what I always get these like Instagram ads that are like, if you buy Dawn dish soap for $1.99 at Walmart, you can sell it for $5.99 on Amazon and you can make $1 million, when you sell 300,000 units or whatever they say. I'm like, do people really do that? But I guess they do. And to your point, some people just want to pay for the Prime, the 2-day delivery. They want it fast and they know it's a little bit more, or they don't know it's a little bit more.
Yeah, but the rationale was that, a person looks at the product on Amazon, they see the higher price, maybe they go and search on the web, and then they come across your site or they come across other. So it's, in a way, it kind of drives that traffic from Amazon to
That's
your other places.
That's actually really interesting. I have
Yeah.
not thought of that, and I like it. I like it a
Um,
lot.
let's talk about your marketing for a second. So, are you doing a lot of online marketing? And
Ye No, we actually don't well, we don't do any paid advertising.
because
So,
your pricing structure is really not aligned with that. Is that
it's just I have dabbled in paid marketing, and I kind of like I'm instant gratification person, and I'm like, I just feel like we're throwing our money away right now.
yeah.
So, yeah, I just haven't really gotten there to like love that. eh, Throwing money at the line. But I mean, I do think that's how tons of businesses grow and have this great website where they sell tons of orders. So I definitely think it's a future opportunity. But as of right now, we haven't done any paid marketing.
Let's talk about competition for a
Yeah.
second. So you have your value proposition is very, very clear. So your jewelry is permanent jewelry, waterproof, price, cost effective,
Yeah.
and of course, design looks beautiful, shines, everything. Are there other competitors who are playing in the same kind of category, or
Oh, definitely.
what you have, the combination that you've kind of dialed into, it's very separate, and nobody's looking at that.
I think we found our niche within fashion jewelry. I think we have a different brand than any of our competitors, but I would say, yeah, I mean, there are other people doing it and there are other people that are great at jewelry. I feel like our brand is a little more modern and dainty and following the trends and keeping the price integrity. So I think all those things together, we found our niche. But I mean, there's definitely competition and there are definitely other people in a similar game to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For your website, do you have large enough order volume? Like, how do you fulfill? What is your shipping strategy? Like, do
So
you
we yeah,
ship
so
it?
we have a girl in the back. We have an order, she's an order manager. She fills both wholesale and retail orders. So we do it all in-house in our back room. We print off the order, we look at it, we write, thank you, and we put it in a cute little gold envelope with our package, our suede pouch, and our box, and a little about us card. But yeah, we keep all that shipping and everything in-house as of now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What does your team look like right now?
So I have 7 full-time employees plus myself, and they're all, 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday for the most part. And then we have about 25 part-time girls. And those are gals who are covering the sales floor both during the week and then on the weekends. We have 3 retail stores, so about 25 employees is what it takes to get those hours covered.
So I guess I'll go back to one of my previous questions. Do you want to grow your retail presence? Because it seems like a scalable thing, like,
Yeah. I mean, I do. I do. We opened our first store at the Dallas Farmers Market 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. We opened the Lovers Lane store about 8 months ago, and we opened Greenville 2 months ago. So the retail actual storefronts is still kind of new. 3.5 years ago, I did not have any stores. So I kind of like the pace we are. And although I would love having a lot of stores, I like to focus on one at a time, keep the overhead reasonable, and then move on to the next one.
okay. Do you love being at the stores? Like, do you think that at a certain point you can hire like a business manager that kind of takes your place, in terms of managing all these retail stores, and you become kind of like more of the idea person, and and maybe you have more time then to
Yeah.
focus on your family and things like this.
I think I am getting there, and I have gotten there. In the past year alone, I guess a little over a year, I've added 3 full-time people to my team. I've taken away a lot of the design, a lot of the customer service things that I was keeping close, a lot of the scheduling of people, meeting people and hiring them. Really, I've taken all of that off my plate. So I have definitely moved in that direction.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I have to say, when I hear your story, it almost seems like things fell into place very easily. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not I'm sure there was hard work and mistakes made and things like this.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely just enjoy the journey, and I have made some terrible mistakes. Like, I have definitely sent $5,000 straight to a scammer before for my business, thinking I was getting these incredible stones.
Hmm.
Um, that was a low one. I have done tons of pop-up shops where it was windy, where it was rainy, where everything blew over, where only one person bought something, where it was 0 degrees outside. So a lot of that growth at the beginning is someone told me a long time ago, being an entrepreneur, you're going to make a lot of $5,000 mistakes. And I was like, oh no, I better not. Yeah, no, I have. I mean, I have ordered 5,000 boxes that came from overseas that took up our entire office, our entire
Mhm.
back room, not thinking what it would be like to order shipping boxes, but 5,000 of them. I have done events that just like weren't the right fit, or like were just super long hours where I'm just like, I cannot go on. I have, struggled learning how to manage people, learning like, just the whole thing of hiring and making people mesh and mingle together. So there's been a lot of that, but I think I've learned that that's like part of the growth and part of the fun. And you're going to make mistakes. Like, you're going to throw money away on something you never use. And it's like, okay, I learned from that, but I better not do it again.
I
So
think
that's
they are.
kind of my mentality. I'm not one to like stew over a bad mistake. I'm like, shoot, that sucks. I shouldn't have done that. So,
I think that's the most important thing. Like, if you make a bad decision or mistake, it's like as long as you're learning and you
yep,
don't make it again, I think that's the most important thing.
exactly. And sorry, I have to wrap up in a minute. I have a teacher conference tonight. So,
Okay, okay. So
yeah.
I'll do a quick rapid fire segment very, very quickly. So
Okay.
in this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions, and you have to answer them maybe in a word or two.
Okay.
Um, One book recommendation for entrepreneurs, and why?
Ooh, one book. Gosh, I've read a lot of books too. The Tipping Point by
Okay,
Malcolm Gladwell.
and why?
I just liked learning about people and about customers and about, that whole point of, getting past certain things and moving into the right direction of the business.
An innovative product or idea that you feel excited about.
Ooh, new product or idea. Oh, coming up with the signature piece of jewelry.
Uh, a business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip.
Ooh, product. All hands meetings every week with the whole team. Love
Awesome.
that.
Another startup or business that you think is currently doing great things.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Startup that's doing great things.
Or it could be business, established business.
Ooh, that's a good one. Wait, can we come back to that?
Sure, sure. A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you.
Oh, I have a friend named Mallory that has a going live business called ShopStyleYourSenses, and I think she is definitely on to good things.
Awesome. Um, Best business advice that you have ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Probably two things. One, to just start it. The successful people are the ones who actually went and did it. And then two, that you're going to have expensive mistakes and you got to learn from it and move on.
Awesome. And then I'll come back to that question again. Another startup or business that you think is currently doing great things.
Um, I mean, there's a lot of different levels of startups that I love, but I would say, I mean, I love my Allbirds shoes. I think that I'm loving like brands who are going like carbon neutral and using recycled materials. So I'll go Allbirds, but there's so many kind of good ones doing
Awesome.
sustainable things.
Awesome. Well, those were all the questions that I had, Nikki. I know you have to
Awesome.
go. I know you have a busy day. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for
Cool.
sharing your story and your business successes and learnings. So thank you so much again for joining me today at Trip Talks. And
Cool.
I really appreciate your time.
Awesome. It was nice to meet you. And yeah, I look forward to maybe working together again on something.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good